Hi there, and welcome to Phantobra behind the scenes. So today I wanted to show you a bit of the graphics I do, and maybe how I do them also. First off, I'd like to show this Bigfoot mob that I drew a few months ago. Um, since just as it is with the programming part, the graphics part is also a learning by doing experience. So when I started out here, I've never really been very good at drawing, but I think I'm getting better, and I'm quite happy with the results of this one. So as I said 2 months ago or so, I drew this, and then I decided to shelf it because I wanted to focus on some other parts of the game. Um, but because I really was happy about the design of this one, I decided recently that I wanted to use it as a boss in this game. So usually when I animate stuff, I draw a basic frame, I copy and paste that frame, and change it a little, and so on and so forth, like to create a animation strip. To give you an example, here's animation strips for my game. Let's look at the bees here. As you can see, there are subtle changes to the wings for each frame, and you can just cycle through these frames all over, and this gives this animation. Also, you can see for the two last frames, the head is lower than the two upper frames, which adds a little bit more movement to the animation. Another example where I only use 3 frames is this animation where the rat attacks the doors, like it's gnawing on it or something. If you look closer, you can see from here to there, the head has been lowered a bit, and the tail has been changed a bit. But that's like the only change there is. And the third frame is here. It's actually more or less the same as this frame, except for the tail. So when I cycle back and forth between these 3 frames, it gives this sense that the rat is gnawing at something and the tail is like wiggling, just again to add a little bit more movement and life to the animation. Um, but for the Bigfoot mob here, since it's going to be a boss, I need a lot of more animations for the various attacks and stuff it can do. And also in general, it just bosses just need to be a bit more awesome. So I stumbled upon this program on Kickstarter called Spine. So I decided to chip in and help fund the project, which in turn gave me a copy of the product. So this program, I just finished like an hour ago. I finished doing all of the animations that I need for the boss. I might be needing more later, but also so far this is what I've planned. So look at the top here. We have the basic walk animation. Well, the funny part is I'm not even sure that I'm gonna be using that but I kind of figured that I needed to learn to use the program. So what better way than to start with a basic walk animation? So as I mentioned earlier, there was this program called Spine that I used to animate the Bigfoot mob. So this is the program, and I'm not going to go into much detail about how it works because I only have like 8, maybe 10 hours of experience with the program, and what I do is very basic, and there's just so much more to the program. But I'm gonna quickly show what I've done with to animate this Bigfoot mob. So I started out by placing an image in the background of this Bigfoot mob. I then added bones and like created a skeleton on top of this image. I did make several errors back when I did this. One of the first errors was that I should have chosen a more extreme position, where the arms and legs were spread out more. This would make it easier to see what bone went where and how it was connected and such. Eventually, it worked out for me like this, but well, lessons learned for the next time. Also, I should have made some kind of hip bone or something because, as you can see over in the hierarchy over here, I actually have the backbone, this bone here, as the main bone, and everything else is just child bones of that bone, which isn't the right way to do it. Um, so you then go to animation mode. Let's just remove the overlay for the bone, and then you can pick any bone you like, and then you can rotate it. So this arm, the arm behind it, um, that would have been easy to see with the extreme position I talked about earlier. And you can always also move it around. So the problem with not having a hip bone is that since the backbone here is like the master bone, when I rotate it, let's imagine that I wanted to bend forward. As you can see, first of all, the pivot point of the bone should have been down here because this is what happened when it rotates. And secondly, since every other bone is a child of this bone, I would like to have had the legs like be more independent of it. So and yeah, so they weren't moving like this. So this gave me quite a few issues, and I probably ended up with having to be more specific with the amount of frame to use. As you can see here, for example. Well, that's a bad example actually, but I'll show you later. Um, so, but I ended up with a decent result, I think. Let's start with the death animation that I actually just finished before starting to make this video. Let's see how it goes. So basically, this is the death animation. Um, so to keep up or follow my current style, I will be editing this a bit in Paint.net since every mob except for the bee, when it dies, it like explodes more or less in blood. I want the same style for this, but I haven't really decided if this Bigfoot has blood or maybe white snowy stuff inside of him. But well, I'll figure that out soon enough. So over here are the various animations that I've made. Let's take the slam animation, where the Jedi or Bigfoot mob slams his fist into the ground. Boom. As you can see down here on the timeline down here, I've had to make quite a lot of frames in a row here. And the problem was that because the backbone here, or the torso, is moving like it is, it actually pushed the legs down below the line that I use at the ground here. So let's just take a quick look at all the animations. One thing to keep in mind is that when you see the animations in this program, it's very smooth. This does not correspond to the way things go in the game. So when I extract these into animation strips, I will reduce the frame rate slightly so that it will have this arcade style to it where it isn't like totally smooth. Well, you did see the death animation. Let's just do it one more time. And then there's this slam animation. There's a push animation. Um, actually, it looks like a guy in a wheelchair. but keep in mind that these animations will only play like once. They aren't going to be repeated. When he does this animation, he will be rolling huge snowballs that you need to dodge. That's a punch animation. That's a flow animation. Haven't really decided if his arm is going to go around that way, but I think it was quite funny, and it actually happened accidentally. So I don't know yet. And finally, the walk animation. It's a bit clunky on the legs, but when you extract it as a animation strip, it actually looks okay. So, and since I'm not sure I'm even gonna use the walk animation, I haven't tweaked it, but I will do that if necessary. So before I leave, there's one last thing I'd like to show you. It's just a picture really. Um, it's the level as it looks right now that is going to be used for this boss. What you see here is a screenshot of the new boss instance I'm working on. I'm not going to go into detail about how the instance works or how the boss mechanics are. I'm just wanted to show you the two new tile types and the background tile I've created. So as you can see, there are the ice brick tile and the ice crystal tile. So well, that was about it really. So thank you for watching, and do subscribe if you find this interesting. Leave a like if you liked it, or even leave a comment if you have a question or just want to say hi. Anyways, that's all from me. Thank you very much for watching.